this squad. FUT with the biggest matchup so far in their careers. And I mean, looking at EG on home turf as well, we'll see how this match unfolds. But it's an uphill battle for the side of FUT, beginning on the attack and looking for some control. They've destroyed the turret, but they've got their sights set on A.
Viper walls making things a little bit more awkward. And while Demon One has just met the Turkish aim, first bullet straight to the head as they look to swarm in onto Jorgamo. Almost manages to get a double straight off the bat. He is going to be a menace throughout this match on the A site, but for now at least, it is going to be the advantage in the favor of FUT. A quick retake being attempted though.
Yeah, just trying to annoy them. Some damage done. Boostio able to catch off. Mojin goes out for a bit more. That double might just give them a fighting chance in this. With low HP on Ada Captain, the round might just be theirs, and seconds later it is locked in for EG, America's #1. You've already seen America struggle today, Tom. The eyes are certainly on the Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, one of the things I really want to highlight as well is the last time we actually saw Boostio play a Killjoy versus FUT, 25 kills. So he had a pretty good game, so that's definitely going to be someone we have to keep an eye on. I also want to watch the way that EG are actually going to work, because one of the things, a few pistols, nothing much more, and on the other side, well, a pretty healthy buy.
Yeah, some challenges for EG if they want to take pacier attack rounds, but here on the defense, they're not afraid to put a little bit of that aggression out. Already grabbing the orb up on A long, some good control on the back of it. But they have given up a lot of control around here. The water wide open, and FUT are feeling it out, grabbing all of that control. Thing is, still a decent run from here towards either one of the sites. There's players in between them. Calm. I like the idea. Spamming on the back of the turret contact. It won't get them anything, though.
Yeah, the screen is basically just used to try and make things more awkward for the player fighting around that angle. And you're not going to want to play close when you're up against these pistols. Calm, though. Very good at just taking that initial fight, fading away, not over-facing. He has support from Boostio as well, and not giving any real 1v1 fights. They are cleaning things up. It's only going to be the pistol lost, and for Kiwi, 8 HP, definitely not the gun of choice. And as he tries to pick up the other, he will the pistol so they could save up this extra cash. I don't know if this is something FUT will necessarily be expecting, but with Demon One on the server, I feel like you always have to be that little bit more wary. Again, though, we saw this from the few attack rounds from FUT. They're very happy to take these pacey hits and already walking quite far up towards long. Boostio's going to try and get himself a little bit more aggressive around this corner. That singular smoke place to try and deter them, but Kiwi's going right through it, and he'll find that opener.
Yeah, spotted Boostio on the way through. That's your Killjoy down, a lot of your utility down and out. And already used a Nano Swarm. Now a lot of the weaker weapons are trying to skirmish for this site, and the AWP still miles away. If you lose these other players, you're going to start to think about saving, but Ethan might just have given them a chance. Now they can contemplate fighting for this Kiwi. Incredibly low. 40 HP, a shot out from the AWP. Now they know where Kiwi is. They've got him boxed in, taken down, and Mr. Fallen's on 70. The follow-through round from FUT, this should have been clean. The AWP didn't even play that big of a role, but it might to close it out. It has the angle up top. That smoke soon to fade, and Mr. Fallen left in the open. Good damage done. Jorgamo barely holding on to life, but he'll catch the angle up above. Evil Geniuses not giving an inch to FUT.
And what a huge round as well from Ethan. Like, that's the thing, you look at the initial fights that go the way of FUT. You have the time for the rotation of Jorgamo and Demon One. Big round for him, and for FUT, that is an early defeat that they would.
The one upside, Kiwi has a Blade Storm. Look at this, the fact that Demon One's holding that, just what's going through their head. Okay, they've got a Blade Storm. How do we deal with it? Let's hold some of those updraft angles. You know he's going to try a nasty play, and he's already tried it. Down to 30 health. Sure, they get control over the B site, but defending it with these kind of weapons is not likely to go well. And with 30 HP on Kiwi, what can you really hope for?
But there's two things that they can hope for. One, Blade Storm maybe works out. The other is Mr. Fallen gets a single kill and he has a lockdown. Other than that, there really isn't a lot to play with in this round already. Getting a lot of information, and those knives are going to be gone for the next few seconds. They are slowly just being picked apart, one by one by one. It's looking very easy for the remaining players. Post plant for Moj. He will be able to pick off one already. The spam attempting a little bit more, but now Mr. Fallen, Stinger at a distance. Can't really hope for anything, and again, EG are going to make that one look easy. 4 players alive. Finances really growing, and although the time was getting a little
counter available.
Yeah, it's funny as well. I think Demon One, its positioning in the early rounds, unlucky. They have gone B the last few. He's been on A. Now he's finally on B. And they are lurking through mid and wrapping around onto A. In fact, Com's position was one almost placed ready for Kiwi as he does wrap back round, potentially looking to go to spawn or even hit into R, but he's going to be spotted by the drone. I think maybe even caught a little bit off guard by the fact that they are prepared for somebody to be this far forward. And with the remaining players back of sight, even though the ground has been taken for FUT, the value of it, well, it seems like EG's almost given it to them.
Yeah, again, in effect, when they come to pushing the site, because of how passive EG are, they've just given up art, right? It's not as bad as you might think, because FUT have nowhere to pivot to take that space off of slightly missing the timing on that right click. The knife caught him. Ability suppressed for just a moment. Spams through, nothing found. Kiwi biding his time as the shock dart lands. Next planter steps up to the plate. We'll see what they can do. A nade on its way, but they haven't accounted for Kiwi. The double up close, the reward found. He's going to fight further into spawn for his third. Still holding control. That lockdown, sure, it presents a serious danger for him. Not so much as the bullets, but he's bought time. He's bought space for his squad now, positioned in Arden main, and with just one man on the other side, Demon 1. Seems to be a near impossible clutch just with the time on the clock. He has to try to find some kills first. Spotting one player, suspecting the second. Great read on this situation. But Maj just falls back, toying with the timer and winning it out in the end.
Let's see how often he's going to be able to pull off something like that, because it's still a very, very long way to go. Even still, actually, starting to look at the finances for FUT.
Anything but. And we saw this recon through in the previous round. This time, oh my, it's catching a lot of information. But the follow through, okay, Jogamo's got his second. Here comes the Hunter's Fury. Tagging them up on the way through, making them a little bit easier to follow up on as Jogamo catches yet another kill. The spike. It's a strong lead. And we've seen this a couple of times, the idea of popping up the flash, following through with the recon as well.
Fury, he gets value from it. I think normally it's a multi-frag. This time, maybe not so much, but the amount of damage he was able to do, the disarray he was able to cause, and more so, just the fact that Jorgamo is such a menace when it comes to this A site. It's definitely an issue. Pressure again being placed into mid. Demon 1 goes back for more. Hoping to try and find that extra little bit of damage. Spam trying to deny Kiwi the opportunity to get that operator, and it actually has. I thought he was going to continue that push, but backs away.
Yeah, maybe worried about a second player following through at any moment. I'm not sure, but they've left it on the floor for now. A valuable weapon for this squad. Instead, maybe looking for this orb. They could get the Blade Storm online right here and now, hold the long-range angles. You know the op's not in the round. Good idea. Now, last time around, Kiwi wasn't able to get up to all too much. This Blade Storm didn't have quite the same impact as we've seen. His mobility already out of the game. His updraft used up. So he won't be a menace up and around these smokes anymore, but he doesn't need to be. The lockdown buys them all the space. And through the smoke, well, let's add another tally to the counter in the audience. FUT on the back foot now for sure.
But yeah, the nano was just to buy them back. They are popping everything. So many ults being thrown into the round, and it might not even be enough. The man advantage going back, but at least Krax has been able to hit a nice shot, giving them an opportunity. The close angle is so important, but Jorgamo still just going strong, leaving two remaining. Both with Sheriffs hiding within this vibe. Krax has managed to double, but still comes down to one. And Com will not allow the mischievous FUT to get away with anything.
What an incredible effort with Sheriffs nonetheless. But 6-1 nonetheless. And despite a little bit of a stumble, I don't even know if I want to blame that on them realistically. What can you do about a player hitting shots like that? And we've seen this from Krax in the opening series. Like, they still have the money to buy up here, and the Blade Storm being gone, you won't bat an eye at, but it's the rest of the ultis that went through.
Again?
And this guy, Boostio, another kill, just spamming through smokes. It's Mr. Fallen to go down this time, and the immediate response from FUT. They're quickening the pace. They're moving into the B side now, hidden here.
There's a smoke.
Still Boostio behind the smoke. This is where he's most deadly. Gonna be blinded up again. The flash through, it's caught him, and they found him, rooted him out. In the meantime, though, out of captain, deleted in the attempt to plant the spike. Now gonna be run back a couple more seconds. It's down in the open, has to be retrieved.
That's the thing. It seems with EG, there's never a man left behind. Oh. Such good use of the fragment. You can see already cracks on his last lease of life. They're going to have to use the poison orb just to try and give them a spot to plant him. But now the full rotation has come through. The entirety of EG are ready and raring to go. But Kiwi's at least even things up for a second.
Yeah, and now look at his HP down to 16. Shock Darts hunting down both of these low players. Maj found. Kiwi has to turn up, only good for the one. Krax tries to fade away, dodging bullets. Just one needed to take him down. He is so desperately low, and they're coming so close to finding him. The bun seen up above, but he doesn't realize it, turning at the last moment. And giving Demon 1 that final kill, that 7th round now locked in for the side of EG.
It just seems like every single time, a Com diving through the smoke to trade out his teammates, the fragment onto the spike, like there's always damage being achieved by EG. Their utility has been sublime, but even just their timing and synergy, and in this sort of round, would you even use it?
Opportunity would have to present itself. For now, that's not the case. Slow approach from EG. They even wanted to get a little aggressive to start, but once they see this wall go down, that space taken, they're going to give it up. Play a little bit more passive. And that op on the corner is suspected. You can see the jump peaks, but now taking the wider angle. Great reading of how this round is breathing out. Flash unfortunately caught Maj there as well, so there was no follow through.
Okay, constantly once more. For the rest of FUT, starting to, again, go back to the same take. They've been splitting back through B every single time. Com and Boostio have been having a field day. Again, going to be tagging up the information. Boostio just waiting to swing off his teammates' contact, supportive shock darts, but at a captain, he's on the board, but there is the dart straight through. Com's utility has been almost as good as his fragging power throughout this game so far. Unfortunately, he doesn't get assists for his own kills. But he is going to find the wallbang. This site is just locked out. And Maj, well, he's finally going to take one, but as said,
that might have been why initially, but his support play and his patience, always a treat to watch. The Demon 1 paired up with him, it's a deadly duo. And even look at the damage, right? Ada Captain found that kill that we saw on the board just seconds ago beforehand. At that point, yeah, it's an easy follow-through when he goes for the plant. And this is the thing, no matter what happens to EG, even when they're losing a player, the dominoes have already started to fall.
As said, it's that cost fallacy.
And every time.
Here we go. A chance. Demon 1 is going to go back for a little bit more. I've noted as well that we spoke about Ada Captain yesterday. I think it was 20 assists and a half.
Yes.
Ethan's already on 13, so he's looking to try and beat him.
Jealous.
Again, they're going to split through R in towards this A site. A lot of counter utility in an attempt to try and slow them down. Lockdown even available as well for Boostio if he decides to use it. And Hunter's Fury, as said, Com, he always finds something. And with the lockdown in tow, Ada Captain has at least found one. Not quite clearing Ethan, but even still, they keep the advantage for a moment.
Yeah, neck and neck at least with FUT grabbing the plant. Orbital strike used, so not online. It's just a Blade Storm that's charging in and taken down. Shot out of the sky by Krax, but there's a response. Com not letting this one slip. They've got to push forward. A vague idea of where Krax is, perhaps. Mr. Fallen, though, was revealed moments ago. Putting those pieces together for EG. They'll look to peek this one. Oh my god, the damage is incredible. Cracks down to just a sliver of health. Now the last man standing, double peeked and dealt with. A triple for Ethan. As they push up to 9, this lead can't stop extending for Evil Geniuses.
The synergy between these players is just unmatched, and right now, it seems like FUT just can't quite deal with it, even in the clutch situations, and that was they were comfortable to play on the FUT side.
EG's map choice and FUT's side choice.
Yeah.
They wanted to begin on attack, so sure, we can read into it as yesterday we saw their defense, we know that it's strong, no doubt about it. But it's going to have to be real strong if this keeps up, and even then, if it stops right here and now, 9-3 at best on the half, it's a tough scoreline to recover from. For now, patience, again, on display for the side of EG. FUT, this is probably one of the slower attempts. We're going to see them again wrestle for that map control with a minute on the clock. Destroy that turret, same thing they've been doing in a lot of these rounds, and then Kiwi goes walkabouts. With the fact that you still have players on either extremity, this isn't a game plan right now. They're trying to find options.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Every time there's been space left for EG, it's been left intentionally. It's not like there's been any gaps found. That's a big kill, though. Com going walkabouts and a captain being able to take him out. Boostio left with absolutely no support. He needs to be a hero here, but he's not even checked on. He's managed to find a couple, of course. The second player in Cracks can be brought back from the depths, but that's going to take time.
30 seconds left.
And that time gives a moment. Look at Demon One. He's trying to watch for that exact position. The spam does a lot of damage, and then Ethan finds him anyway. They'll finally get themselves into that after plant, and for the first time in a while, it looks like a possible round for FUT. But we'll see if they can take it.
I really like that from Ethan, just holding the lineup that whole time, waiting for the res to come through. Hoping to get both. The play out. Ethan, no flashes. They got to just dry peek those angles, lose a lot of HP in the process. Demon One down low, doesn't stop him from eliminating Maj. They still need to root out Mr. Fallen, who's just swung out wide, looking to take the fights. Lockdown in play, on the way. The swing needs to come in. Mr. Fallen, it's being diffused right under his nose. And now the stick, it'll get close, but the detain interrupts. Timing now, everything, and that spike is already quite far gone. I think Ethan's realizing now, trying to back away.
Seeing a second round onto the board for FUT, and another Red Bull clutch coming out in their favor this time around. Nonetheless, it is still an absolute mountain to climb for FUT. This last round is more than a necessity. And
what were his choices there? To lose the round a different way, realistically? Yeah, I think he probably played the only way that he gets away with it.
Yeah.
Just sticking it. Didn't work out. Unlucky. Now you move on to the final round of the half. 9-2 on the scoreline. FUT still possible to push up to 3 to maybe hope for the curse at best. For this 12th round, FUT much more decisive on where they want to go, feeling out that A pressure. And they'll instead look to take it this way. When I talked about Calm earlier, my boy taking out the Odin way back. And he'll make it work again. They're also triple stacked up on B.
So much info. So much info. 3 players spotted by the drone. And look at the wraparound from Demon One. Yeah, the pause. I think just knowing that their opponent has that information, but it means they're slowly being boxed in. Timing here could be everything.
No one's watching it.
Yeah, he's looking back and forth, but he's in second back. I don't know how Moj has managed to get away with that one, and now Orbital Strike leaves Com dead to rights. Finally a chance once again, but then strikes Ethan. Another one coming up for Boostio, but it's left all onto Jorgamo. The player wrapping back around. FUT have an advantage once again. The spam is ridiculous, but Moj
incredibly confident with the half that they've just displayed here. They chose the map. FUT maybe threw in a curveball by switching it up and deciding to play instead.
Off versus T1, but they're going to need to, I feel like, step it up to a higher gear. And already, just look at the sheer pace coming out from EG, straight down in towards that mid connector.
Yeah, FUT had some pace too, but didn't catch anyone, and they're a little late to the party. Now on B long, there's a couple players coming down. Will they even read that? Will there be anyone left alive to read it? Low HP now, stuck in the corner. Demon One's also being tagged up, but that won't stop him yet again. Able to deliver kill after kill. The shutdown is there with a back and forth for FUT, but they're overextending into this. Knowing the spike needs to be planted, they try to interrupt it, and well,
opportunities to capitalize.
Yeah, damage could be done. Not seeing a Marshall or anything in here for the attacking side. Obviously going to be a bit of an issue if you are going for control over B long. Probably going to want to have that long-range weapon. Instead, smoking it off, feigning out presence, fighting for orbs. Even some Sheriff battles for Boostio. He's trying to sneak his way in. And a lot of this round can even just be seeing how FUT like to set up in these initial rounds on their defense. You're catching out where the turret is, obviously a different spot to what EG had been putting down on their own defensive side. But then when it comes down to crunch time, to actually taking a site, you might be diving headfirst into a meat grinder, but they've actually managed to take a few teeth out of that grinder. Look at the A site. It's stacked up now because of the feigned control. They went to B first, moved back to A. It looked like a simple enough round. But now as they again shift focus to the B site, they should find this much more open.
Yeah, I like the fact though that FUT are just basically doing exactly the same as we saw from their opponents in the prior half, just sitting very passively, not really giving any opportunities for individual fights. Not allowing that close range of the weaponry. Okay, peekaboo. See you later, Mr. Farland. And at the back of the site, Oh, a firing squad, but they might even try and wrap back around. Demon 1 is trying to hold off those rotations. Not a lot of time for them to get this plant in, though. As it begins, the spam's going to be coming through, but it seems like he's managed to get it. The thing is, though, the full force of FUT is barreling down on this team, and it will be a cleanup in the end. A single kill, a plant for at least a little bit extra, but ultimately we will have a competitive FUT in the next round.
Fight there.
No, early default just being held. A little bit of aggression from the defenders. They're going to get that orbital strike online very early on, and the spam from Mr. Fallen and Moj has at least done a little bit of chip damage. Ultimately, that control has gone the way of EG, though. Not going to allow that push up on one side of the map. And you can see the patience of Boostio just watching for any aggression. Just making sure that there's not going to be any cheeky business, especially in a round like this where it's kind of expected because of the slightly weaker weaponry.
Kiwi's jiggle peek will be spotted momentarily. Boostio even goes in for the pre-fire. That could have been very dangerous indeed. I guess the idea being that by showing that presence, he'll fall back. He'll start to concede the control. And instead, he stayed up. Kiwi seeing that no one's coming around that corner, so they'll stay in position. 3 players still on B, lined up in the open. Demon 1 the first to fall. Good tag and follow through. Mr. Fallen already good for 2. And Jogamo is low. He has to be so cautious and going for those fights. The body was the only target needed, but it won't land.
And that's the thing, because they've managed to go through art, this is going to be an interesting battle of timing. Kiwi's push-up, if he goes any further, he might catch Jorgamo. And he spotted him out, the damage is done, but the spike is already hightailing its way in towards the A site. They haven't spotted the players making their way through middle, so if anything, FUT might just believe they have them trapped in, and instead, it's going to have to be the full retake.
And the problem is how much space they've given up. They'll have to take a while on the way back through or risk a player being in a corner that they can't anticipate. Jogamo's very low. 12 HP on the way around. Better get that turret before it gets you. That came so close with a nano at his feet as well. But he's out of there with 6.
Yeah, unfortunately, the aggression of Boostio has been punished. This bonus round for FUT is looking good other than the HP. A lot of very low players. Ethan already takes the first. The orbital strike will push in. Oh, but he lines him up, leaving just Kiwi remaining. He knows where both players are. Takes a lot of damage.
Right there, and unbelievable to see EG taking strides by miles. Ethan's repositioning even. They thought they had him boxed in. And of course,
he's now 16 and 7 and 14 assists. So his assists have slowed down a little bit. I would say that. But he hasn't really needed to assist anyone. He's been finding all of the frags himself.
Yeah, last few rounds, bad teammate, better player. What can you say? 16th round. FUT have been struggling. And
that was the way back in. That was the door opening up for them to have a chance.
1 HP. Boostio finally losing a spam battle. Not through the smoke, though. It was through the door. That's the difference.
He's going to headshot someone through a smoke now, or we're going to look silly.
It's going to be the play. Well, here's ulti popped. Control taken. Straight down towards the B site. Killjoy utility protecting their back, but it does look like they want to commit, at least commit Demon 1 to this. As he seeks out a fight. Maj is forced back. There's a player up above in the form of Mr. Fallen. He's on the edge of the smoke. Hasn't come through just yet. Just spams, that's all he's looking for with his Phantom. No tracers, so good opportunities. Nade out. Oh, Nade is good, and Maj is even better. The spam's now going in their favor, and it seems like FUT have found a foothold on this round.
Yeah, this is where it gets troublesome. You have to try and reposition and find a safe place to plant, and with all the spams, all the different angles, every player rotating in, there just isn't a safe position. They need someone to give them the fights, and well, the 1 HP player from the beginning of the round, it would be the greatest clutch ever. If he somehow wins this one, we're going to be writing it in the history books, but with 15 seconds left, no spike, and all the players just watching him, it will be Boostio
10 seconds
just
left.
hiding, cowering back, and holding onto his weapon.
Well, they have an idea where he is, but I think most are too far away to really have a chance.
Now.
You just got to watch that now. Boost. But they're going to call a timeout. And I'm not too surprised. Look, this round here, they didn't really get a chance to see anybody. We saw the flashes up and over from EG defensive side. This is very much how they like to take the control. They'll do the same thing here on the attack. Even the recon through just to clear out those extra angles up behind the boxes. Unfortunately, Jogamo's gone walkabouts in the wrong place. Now, look, there's not a whole lot to play with here for the side of EG. It's going to be Demon 1 that takes your focus. And it takes theirs as well. FUT picking him out of the sky, and you can't pick those knives back up.
Boostio now becomes the main focus of this round. See how much damage he can possibly achieve. Again, a few tagged players behind the box, but you feel like there'd have to be more of a mistake from the Turkish roster rather than anything else. They seem acutely aware that this position has been lost, and with the cross being held by Moj, it would mostly come down to awful timing from them, and there it is! That's as bad as timing could get. Mr. Farlin is going to quickly find the trade, and now Ethan is all that's left. 35 seconds, spike to be retrieved, and his opponent of Anna Captain just sitting back and waiting.
Yeah, very patient play like we talked about the other day from FUT. Their discipline definitely being worked on the past couple months since their last international appearance even.
The build-up, though, is going to come in towards the B site, and that's where Kiwi is waiting an instant pop flash just to try and delay them off. The same on the other side, and it's close, but a miss.
Well, Demon 1 hasn't been deterred either. Look, he's just running it down. Trying to take all that space while they hunt down Kiwi. This guy is ridiculous with the Hunter's Furies. Calm just doesn't miss. With that man down, well, you're not too worried about Kiwi picking up the op and picking you up. They can look towards the B site, and they've at least faded out the lockdown with 1:05 on the clock. They can just wait it out.
Yeah, with 3 players already here, at the solo defender on the A site, EG are just gonna pump the brakes, wait this one out a little bit longer. Operator's actually gonna be going back in this time. It's found new hands, new blood in the form of Moj. He's not gonna hit the shot either, leaving them in a dicey position. Rifle retrieved, but still, EG are just waiting, being delayed by the util on the other side.
35 seconds left. They're going to have to make a move eventually, not knowing how many players are on the back of that side towards the elbow. Boostio finds the first. That's Moj. They know that Krax was around here, and they'll deal with him. And with that, well, it looks like a pretty easy site take. Not too many players left alive to spam back, and the plant's already been found. Lockdown if things get very scary, but with only 2 players that they're up against, and the positions that they've got, I mean, all the control is theirs. They can run this clock right the way down. And there you go, Boostio's third seems to lock it in. Nice.
Baby Bay here, and he was mentioning the fact that when they were playing this last time, T1, or a lot of the time, were just going for these really pacey hits and giving them so much util ready for the retake. EG, on the other hand, just very happy to take themselves a pause by just stopping with they'll be expecting. Maybe thinking of holding that utility a little bit longer, and already you can see just the instant pop flash setup and that smoke being baited out immediately from the side of Anna Captain. He can't just allow them to burst into that site.
Yeah, get the sense just looking at EG's setup that they're trying to bait out the push up on B, right? This whole round, you've got Jogamo. We saw Anna Captain have success with it and failure with it in the similar position. You make early presence on A, you push up, you give them control, and you hope that they fall into your lap afterwards. But what has happened is they've pushed middle on the side of FUT, taken the control, heard the turret get called back, heard the rotations come through, and should have a good idea of this B site play that's about to unfold. But the rotations on their own side have taken a little bit. Actually, it looks like they even thought it was A. They just cleared it out now, realizing it, but the players aren't going to be here on time. This is going to be tough to actually, well, they're able to wait outside the lockdown, so maybe this will work out. They've got a flanker as well, Moj containing them, who hasn't been spotted just yet.
He was hoping that they'd be able to find one before they get in. The Molotov has done work to deny at least a little bit longer, but the site is going to fall into the hands of evil geniuses. Anna Captain trying to make a play through, and Moj will be the one to do it instead. The trade's back, leave it down to just Boostio. Still with that operator in hand, and he's going to get destroyed.
Spotted, he destroyed the alarm bot and went running all the way back around. It puts a sense of urgency in the attacker's boots. They're thinking the flank is coming in. We need to either catch him and adapt or rush the site before those rotations come all the way through. And they end up running right into Moj, who'd very quickly rotated and was there to back up his buddies. It's an 8th round. Building blocks starting to form. That EG want to knock that castle down and leave FUT stranded, having to reverse sweep it starting on bind. We're going to see the contact on Moj, but he's smoked off, Doesn't really have an opportunity to do anything still.
Again?
Likes Boostio to 1
It's the
HP.
exact same. He just seems to survive. And, oh, Timmy the Turret almost had. He's been a little bit unlucky. There we go.
He's got it.
Timmy's gone. Not going to be surviving any further in this one. Boostio, he's either the unluckiest or the luckiest. It depends what way you look at it. He's surviving, but only just. The defenders also aren't just sitting there. They're not waiting to lose all of this map control. And a captain starting to push up, but now they start to get pressured from Art through the smoke. They go, though, and it's a good chance for Cracks to farm up a few extra kills. Again, it's Boostio. 1v5. Not
That's how you
quite.
thought it would
No,
go.
not quite.
Game changers for this defensive side, and it paced out correctly. Might make it most of the way towards equalizing at least. It's been promising these last couple, but again, the rifles
He's able to put in on this A site makes it very difficult for EG to actually take a lot of that space. It seems like the contact from Moj in middle and then the aggression consistently surrounding the map, it makes it very difficult for EG to somewhat find this space. And as of right now, they've struggled to string any rounds together. They're going to use a lot of utility to take control of mid once again. Kiwi, wow, he's going to find himself in a bit of an odd spot. They've used this utility to try and almost section off into mid, but instead he's getting pressured on the other side.
Yeah, and his teammates can't really come out to help just because they're being pressured as well. Kiwi on an island, isolated, you would think, in trouble, but Maj manages to buy the time. The orbital strike cut off the rest of the squad and let this man fight from the hallway. He is decimating the EG squad.
Might be getting to that point right about now. 10 rounds on the board, double digits for FUT, and more so, more importantly for me at least, we're seeing those superstars come online. Moj on this defense has again been a menace. They're watching their lead crumble away. A pistol round might have been enough to just close out this game completely.
It would have.
An early shock dart put through to try and destroy Killjoy utility, but it is more of a ruse than anything else, as they are, as a 3-core, just making their way in towards this A site. It's a double up, though. They are waiting, or being collected by Com. I don't mind that at all. It is impact paramount whenever they have that ult online, but it's still a little bit away. As are all of their ults, in fact. None of their ults are close to being online, other than Com's, which is 3 orbs off.
It's a conventional round. I think we're seeing the stack up towards the A site because Maj has Viper's Pit, the confidence to play with it, Operator holding down B long. So that's just 2 people, 2 places that they've got to hold. And then the rest of the squad waits for the, I guess, what they hope, what they expect to be coming through, which is an A play. They've read it correctly to start. They've got their Killjoy utility in play. Mr. Fallen, Ada Captain, and Cracks all close by. Molly and Fragment to keep them back outside of the nanos. Some of that utility will be countered out, unfortunately, but they've still got the manpower here to take those fights and convincingly close out this round, you would think. Mr. Fallen, very low on HP, still going for fights done. All right, setup. Same old approach from this squad. Again, you'll see that Viper orb in play, blocking out control over the double doors for the side of FUT as they stick with a 2-man hold of B. Shifting late, not even late into the round, very early into the round they've abandoned A. Maybe sensing out how slow some of these pushes have been for EG, or expecting them to have a bit of an adaptation rather than coming through Ard and main, that they'll look for control elsewhere on the map that can be punished.
Again, almost selling some information in towards this B site, trying to bait their opponents into the belief that they're there. The orb take will get Com ever closer. They clearly value that ultimate highly. They've been building towards it over the last couple of rounds. A minute left on the clock as Crack sits towards middle. He's expecting pressure to come through here. Both sides have definitely favored that, but this time it seems like the majority at least is going to be leveled into this late B-side push, and that's exactly where Kiwi waits and watches.
Yeah, they've concealed their hand as well. The drone coming around won't spot him out. So Kiwi's able to catch him by surprise. Demon 1 staying at the bottom of that scoreboard. Viper's Pit used. This is great. EG are avoiding the powerful ult, avoiding the Operator as well, but they've got to be quick. They've got to run head first into this KJ setup. Do they have a knife on the way through? Not online for Cracks.
Hit.
Not online for Ethan. onto the back of the site. The nade is in. It's forcing them out into the open, but they're just taking the fights, winning them as they go. The plant desperately trying to be found. It comes at the cost of Com's life. Ethan left on the spike all alone and flooded by FUT. 11 rounds.
One of the freest shots he's probably had all day. Nothing to really force him off the angle, and then just hightailing it. Maybe hoping that they'd baited a rotation of Ada Captain and Mr. Fallen, but they didn't move even for a second. Chance. Otherwise, they're going to have let a map slip from 9-3 in the lead. And the Turkish roster will have themselves a 1-0 position. They're ready for Kiwi. They're watching for him. This time, he's not going to find that initial fight.
It was close on the follow-up as well, but his dash is gone now. That's a big factor. Mobility limited, and in fact, completely taken away. Kiwi still able to get one, hunted down. Orbital strike comes in. Demon 1 needs to move quickly. He'll be caught on the way back out. Sure, 1 kill for FUT, but it might not be enough. Ada Captain still with a massive clutch in front of him. The first not even found, tagging up Boostio. Teammates reposition.
Like a done deal after the streak of rounds that was had, but back to basics. Again, we're going to see that Hunter's Fury every time. It almost seems like when that ultimate is online, EG just can't try and deny some of that early aggression coming out of the side of EG. They were quite happy to try and challenge for map control, but in this round at least, a much more passive stance.
That recon caught a few of the FUT players outside of A. Information for EG not really reacted to. If anything, they go lighter on this A side. Start to move around. But it's FUT grabbing control, leaving a player on each extremity. We've seen this from them before. These are the much slower rounds they like to attempt and find their own opportunities as the round unfolds. Let EG make a mistake. For now, that certainly isn't happening. A lot more presence from this defensive squad around the middle area and around these spots that Kiwi has historically loved to just sneak and slip his way into.
Look at this double up though. 2 players here. The expectation of Boostio will be there. The pop flash good, and Demon 1 is already going to double up, looking for a little bit more. No trade to be had. Kiwi looking like he was considering going back in here. In the meantime, we've seen the walk up on long, but you can already witness on the map that Boostio is firmly watching towards this. It seems like Kiwi trying to maybe bait some sound cues of presence on the other side and leaving Boostio somewhat alone. He's actually going to go forward, maybe gifting his opponents a chance, but also being a bit of a snake within the grass, not expecting him to be up this close. 10 seconds now for FUT to try and find something within this round. Mr. Fallen, he's got a plant. He's got to go for it right now. No, in fact, there's absolutely no time. Everybody has to die, and it is not going to be.
They now finally have the chance to close it out for the first time. It's been an impressive stand from FUT. After just 3 rounds in the first half, I didn't believe in them making it even close to this kind of run. On their defensive side, 13-12. Again, that op is going to be bought up by Kiwi here in overtime.
They do it again. The one thing that really worked for them, that last round, dash, sprint, straight into this B side, and already the fake smoke is what takes out his opponent. It was a bait. Just utilized. Nice trade though from Mr. Fallen, keeping things even for the moment. Cracks trying to pounce, holding that backline, maybe expecting there to be a bit more of a repeat, but that early fight has quickly diminished. And just look at the majority of EG. They're backing away from this one, but so are FUT.
Spikes out, grouping up with Jogamo and Calm, the first to leave this site. Calm on his way to A. They're sticking around. 50 seconds, still some time to make a decision. And most importantly, this is where you expect a flanker to come through or a player on the side of FUT to overextend to grab information. They'll look to punish.
They've tried to use the knife against their opponents. Now Cracks will finally spot that this is the place where EG look to make the stand. Boostio blinded up. Cracks watching, but it's Maj instead, and it's a slaughter! OT.
Yeah, the repositioning of Maj. These players were swinging through to try and deal with Cracks, who'd been spotted moments ago, had popped that little point. This is their map pick that's being contested for so aggressively. Speaking of aggression, nothing but W keys here. The side of FUT looking to very quickly pressure that B site. More players than usual here, though. EG stacked up with 3, ready for this kind of just sheer muscling of the site. Boostio hasn't been spotted at all, and he's getting them all breaking apart this attacking side piece by piece.
It's been tried through multiple esports and failing once more, it seems. A close angle not cleared, and for FUT, that's the blunder. Allow for the quicker rotations, and especially with the amount of spams we've had through smokes, it doesn't seem like it makes the most sense. Also, they're going walkabouts, destroying that turret early, but it's the double down, allowing them to know that there's at least a player on either side. Pop Flash could completely decimate Moj. He's just trying to escape. Both players actually caught by the blind, but somehow he actually comes out with a kill. Kiwi looking like he wants to try and capitalize off that, but will eventually be forced back. Not going to go for an overextension, and again, the early fight comes up even.
Yeah, I think Kiwi's idea was to get out there and help his teammate Moj while he was still alive. You know, lock down that extra angle for him and fight for mid together if his buddy was going to be stranded. But once he falls, the correct decision's absolutely to fall back. Holding on to this control a little bit later towards the doors. And we have seen Boostio with a couple nasty flanks. This time his timing is near perfect, and he'll catch two for his trouble. A triple in the round already, and a nail in FUT's coffin. They managed to pick up Jogamo, remove smokes and some utility at least, and they immediately read it. FUT expecting this EG squad to double back and move towards A, and that read could not be better.
Oh, timing is everything. He's probably heard the steps of them running all the way back around. Kiwi has the perfect flank. The turret's still yet to be pulled back for Boostio, so we'll have no knowledge at this point. He's been spotted. Now looks to maybe face back in the other direction, but he hits the shot anyway, just taking over this round. It took some...